I think any kind of growth where you're challenging your own existing belief system or ways of thinking can be challenging for people. And that's what the spiritual path is. It's kind of like learning to give up what you think and feel and believe and all your desires and everything else your mind has been doing. And when you finally let go of all that, the summation of which is your me or your I, right? Then what's left? You let go of all that you aren't, what is becomes more apparent. But as long as we're still identifying with our needs and our wants and so forth. And so the most powerful path, as you know, I study with a lot of different gurus and trained in dozens of meditation forms, and they're all good. So I don't want to say that one's better or the only, because you'll go to wherever you need. If you need a mantra meditation and to work with a teacher that uses mantras, you'll be guided to them. If your path is through the Bible and prayer, it'll be there.
It sounds easy the way you share it. It'll be guided to you. And I believe it's true, but maybe people are skeptical, but I do believe that there's just a perfect unfoldment of anyone's life.
Right.
That we are coming toward an awareness and awakening in consciousness on a
global scale.
Yes. So
critical mass is forming. There are millions of people meditating. There are more people practicing meditation now than ever in the history of the world.
Really?
There are more people awakening in consciousness than has ever happened in the history of the world.
Isn't that funny that you look at the news and all you hear are the negative scenes of what's happening in the world, while this is what's happening as well?
Well, you can see both. And they're happening for the same reason.
Right.
You know, when 9/11 happened, it was a very unfortunate, obviously, especially for the people in the aircrafts and in the building that lost their lives and all their family. But it shook up the world. And something shifted around then. And people started looking at values different.
Yes.
It was a sobering experience that people were a little better prepared to look for peace and start thinking about what a crazy world we're in and how can it be better. And so we live in an age that has been prophesied by virtually every religion and major spiritual teaching in the world, that we're going to come to an age where we will live together in peace. And it's usually described as heaven on earth, Eden, Nirvana, the Krita Yuga, from the Kali Yuga to the Krita Yuga.
So it's described because people may not understand these terms.
Epics. So the gist is, in all the different religions of the world, which was the subject of my first book, you see there's one common thread, that they all believe that there will be a period where human beings will somehow step out of their lower nature, their sinful nature, or Kali Yuga,
the age of darkness,
and into the age of light, which is the Krita Yuga. And it described in many other ways. There's also the age of the Maitreya, or the cycling of the Bodhidharma in the Buddhist traditions, and they believe this is this period. It's a 2,500-year cycle. Buddha lived 500 years before Christ, so we're actually entering the age of Aquarius. We're in the cusp of going from Piscean age into Aquarian age. So you see this paradigm, this metaphor, and this mythology that is really indicative of an innate intelligence that is imbued in the collective consciousness of humanity. It's playing itself out. We live in that age. We're seeing it in our lifetime.
This is inspiring because a lot of people listen to the predictions and hear the terms like apocalypse, like, oh my God, it's the end in a few years. But I researched that the word apocalypse actually means revelation.
Yes.
And then this appearing current concealment is the preparation for that revelation. So for me, it's a good news. It's something beautiful that arises, and if we can just hold on to the faith and study with people like you and other teachers to connect, conscious contact with the divine, I think we will have a more smooth journey toward that higher consciousness.
And more happiness and peace on earth. It's predictable, it's provable, it's demonstrating. If we can do it as individuals, and if we can do it in small groups of individuals, we can do it collectively as a people on earth. And so we're seeing masses of people awaken in consciousness.
Beautiful. Do you have something you want to add, or would you just want to share where people can find about you if they want to know more?
Well, they can go to selfawareness.com. That's the easiest way. We do free calls, teleconference calls. People call in from all over the world. We've got students in 120 countries.
Wow.
And we all get on the phone together, and I do a Shaktipat transmission over the phone.
Wonderful.
So they can put up your hands and feel the energy, whether you're in Europe or Africa or wherever, And what happens is the same force that is causing life in me is causing life in you. We all draw our life from the same source. And that's what we do on our calls. So it's a meditation in the sense that we do take a few deep breaths and we do roll our eyes up to lower our brainwave frequencies, and we do, but the main thing we're doing is the non-doing. In other words, the life force energy connects us with source or spirit. Spirit guides the meditation. I support that by my presence energetically. And then we commune in that exalted state or that blissful state. And once you get familiar with that state, you can come back to it easier the next time. And if you come to it again and again and again, samadhi, and go from nirvikalpa, that's the first step. So you go into the bliss states, and then you can go to the next step. There's different transitions. But typically you need to be able to go to nirvikalpa. When you can live in nirvikalpa, samadhi, which is an initial state of revelation, you might say, or realization, then at some point the subtlety of the self-identifying witness dissolves, because it was never anything other than what your mind thought it was, which is whatever it thinks, which has nothing to do with you, because you're not your mind.
Lovely.
You're the love.
This was
You're the love.
inspiring.
Thank you
so much, Stephen.
Thank you, Jagadu.
Thank you.
Hopefully that was
Thanks a lot.